Today we have a prog metal emergency. Dream Theater just announced their new album Parasomnia. I'm literally reading this for the first time. We're thrilled to announce our 16th studio album Parasomnia for February 7th, 2025. This album marks the beginning of a special new chapter for us as bandmates and as brothers. Cool. And we have the track listing here. In the Arms of Morpheus, Night Terror, A Broken Man, Dead Asleep, Midnight Messiah, Are We Dreaming, Bend the Clock, and the Shadow Man Incident, which looks like the traditional long epic. Very Dream Theater-esque song titles, so no disappointments there. And then there's info about the 40th anniversary tour, which I have a ticket for. And here is the artwork. Decent, but I'm not going to lie, this artwork strikes me as very AI generated. And I know that Jordan is fond of some AI stuff, so it wouldn't surprise me if this was entirely AI. I tend to not like AI generated stuff. It cheapens the work to me, but let's not jump on the hate train too quickly, because what we're really here for is the new single Night Terror, clocking in at almost 10 minutes. If you guys don't know me, my name is Ohak Cade. I'm the composer for the symphonic metal project Valcata. You can check out our music in the description. So what I'd like to do is listen to this song the whole way through, take it all in, then I will break down my thoughts afterwards in an honest fashion. I might check out the music video, but I'm not as interested in the music video. I'm really all about the music, so we're focusing on that. But yeah, I am super hyped for this, the first song with Mike Portnoy, since he was replaced by Mike Mangini, who bowed out gracefully recently. Very grateful for all his work, but this is the original guys, the whole group back together. I'm so curious to see how Mike Portnoy has influenced the music this time around. What are we going to get? I'm tempering my expectations. Let's not delay any further and jump right into it. All right, there we have it. So, overall, I'm a little underwhelmed, to be honest. I'll do my best to explain why and give my reasons. I know that everyone hears music differently, and this is just my opinion, of course. But I have some thoughts on the overall vibe and composition of this, so just hear me out, okay? So I'm gonna start with the production. Sort of a typical mix for them, I guess. Everything is quite clear. I'm not getting a huge punch or any sort of atmospheric imagination from the mix and the soundscape. But as far as clarity goes, I have no complaints. The guitar tone is the usual. The keyboard sound designs are typical. I am not someone who pays a huge amount of attention to the bass. No bass solos or anything like that I remember, but there could be something I missed. Overall, sounded pretty decent. Sound-wise, in terms of the production, and the vocals were clear. And as far as the composition and songwriting goes, I thought the song started off quite strong. I get a strong sense of a traditional heavy metal style from this track, reminiscent of Judas Priest, for example. And that's something I quite liked about this song. At least towards the beginning, I was getting the sense that it was actually quite restrained for them. We didn't start off with any insane time signatures or anything like that. For example, in a track like The Alien. The riffs and tempo were actually quite straightforward, and actually I found them to be pretty impactful. I was really intrigued by that. But somewhere along the line, the spirit of that and the energy of that wasn't quite brought through the rest of the track, and largely this song falls into a space that they've gotten comfortable with over recent years. I'm sorry to say I don't notice any influence in the songwriting from Mike Portnoy on this track. What I hear in this track is elements of, say, Untethered Angel, The Alien, Enemy Inside, and particularly A Nightmare to Remember. And maybe this is an intentional callback to that, but the intro and many parts throughout distinctly sounded like A Nightmare to Remember, but not specifically, more in a general sense. The song is called Night Terror, so that reference might be intentional, but the effect I get from that is that it just sounds uninspired, and I've heard this kind of stuff from them before so much. Some of the more proggy parts throughout I actually quite enjoyed, And I know I'm contradicting myself there, as I just said I was enjoying the more traditional style towards the intro. But in the latter half of the song, we did get the usual extended instrumental section where they show off some of their virtuosic abilities. But I felt like some parts of that instrumental section were really cool and interesting, and they had me kind of like bobbing my head. And other parts just sounded like anything I could have gotten from any of the past 3 or 4 albums. There was one really cool part of intense shredding, and I think you probably saw my reaction to that part. And the guitar solo in this song, specifically, at least the more intricate guitar solo, was really cool, potentially my favorite part of the song. However, then we transitioned into a more like dreamy, extended note, melodic guitar solo that I didn't find as interesting. It was yet again reminiscent of a chord progression that I'm finding no new imagination and no new interest in. The vocal melodies in this song are so boring. The chorus is pretty decent. I'll say that the chorus has a lot of potential to maybe grow on me. I like that it explores some of James's lower range. But the verses have that tired cadence that is predominant through so many of their songs. It's the da 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 da. Like, why do they keep going back to that? It's like the stiffest vocal melody you could ever think of, which is so weird considering the complexity of the instrumentals. It could be down to James's limitations, but even at that, you could do him justice, or he could do himself justice. To be fair, I'm not 100% who writes the vocal melodies here, but there has to be some fun in the vocal melodies somewhere. I'm not getting that. The vocals in this song come across to me like filler, like they're just there to be there. There's nothing catchy, nothing fun, nothing even silly. Give me some silliness, give me something. Yeah, this song is kind of a snooze, to be quite honest. Kind of a snooze. We also got some moments of really cool drum fills from Mike. Those were definitely fun. I just don't think he had much to work with regards to the riffs and the atmosphere of the track. I don't know. Kind of a nothing burger to me, I'll be honest. So because my reaction to this song is so negative, what I'd like to do is watch the music video. Let's see if this song can grow on me a little bit. Maybe there's something I'm not catching. And I will pause it at certain points if something comes up. I will say I do like the texture of this riff. I thought this riff had a lot of potential. In this part of the song, I was still pretty hype. Like, this is all pretty hype. That drum fill was sick. We're still in some good territory here. That vocal melody is so bad, so boring. This melody can be found in countless of their other songs. This is where I started to get really worried already. One positive thing I will say is that I actually quite like the look of the music video. It suits the music very well. Thankfully, there's no AI generation in here, and thankfully there's also no weird like CGI or green screen stuff that's typical of a lot of, I would say, prog and symphonic metal bands. It's quite a tasteful looking music video overall. I like the lighting, the camera angles are cool, the editing isn't too over the top. It's a solid music video, for sure. I'll give them that. It's not the worst chorus ever. At least it's prettier than the verse, but still nothing that blows my socks off. And I don't know why they always insist on ending the chorus with that major fifth chord in the minor key. It just makes everything sound so predictable. Like, isn't this supposed to be progressive? Let's keep going. This part is cool. I do enjoy this part here. And this part kind of sounds like Bridges in the Sky. So yet another sense of deja vu that I could do without. To be fair, I don't expect them to reinvent the wheel with every single moment in every single song. But a whole song of deja vu is just a bit much for me, is all. Perhaps my expectations were too high. I kind of figured they might be. But hearing this a second time, I do like how the riff has been varied which in turn gives a variation to the overall rhythm of the second verse and pre-chorus. Yes, the vocal melody is still bland, but at least it sounds a little more interesting with the variation on the main riff. That was a cool little moment, a staggered groove to lead us into that section. There's something pretty sick about that I like. Someone please tell me where we've heard this part before. You know, like, we know this. We've been given this before. We've been fed that. And it's fun. It's fine. What I will say is that these parts are fun because of Mike Portnoy's drumming. He's doing some stuff here that I can't put my finger on that makes it sound interesting, even though the guitar licks and the chord progression sound so recycled. So props to Mike. And you know what I will say about the production? This riff is not the worst riff ever. They've written more interesting riffs than this, of course. It's more of a filler type situation to give us a break from the technicality, but with more imaginative production, I'm picturing like maybe a bit more reverb, some sort of cool effect on the bass and guitar to make it sound more atmospheric than just literally the playing of it, if that makes sense. Again, I'm not a mixing engineer, but I'm trying to communicate like my vision here. Have you ever listened to the band Russian Circles? Their production is so dark and dirty sounding, and I think that sort of production would fit really well in a groove and pretty much a song like this. I'd love to hear that. Oh my god, it's killing me. What is that from? You know, I don't know, probably something from A View from the Top of the World. It might not be an identical riff to one they've used before, but it could be an amalgamation of the spirit of many different riffs from their songs, I guess. And maybe I'm the only hater who is hearing this stuff. Let me know. I'm totally open to disagreements. I'm just kind of giving my honest opinion as a subjective listener. I just hate the idea of what I perceive to be recycling ideas so blatantly in a progressive metal band. See, from the beginning of that shredding part until now is actually all pretty good. I'm really into it. And I wonder why that fun sensibility isn't present throughout the whole song. I think that the ideas just in these last few seconds are so strong that you could almost build a whole song around them. And this solo I really enjoy. Yeah, so up until now that was all really sick. Definitely my favorite section of the song. But now we're getting into that unnecessary, epic, melodic guitar solo that sounds totally out of place. It certainly has its place in other songs, but why slow it down all of a sudden here at this moment for this? Just none of it makes any sense. Like, what are we supposed to be feeling right now? Why are we suddenly profound and emotional and spacey? Like, where is this coming from? It just makes no sense. The song's called Night Terror. I don't know. I just don't know. Like, what's going on? Like. So, I have nothing against that final riff. I believe it's the main riff we had throughout the song. It's a pretty good riff, decent. But, you know, the tonal shift between that final chorus and the last riff was a bit jarring. And a key change with some power chords on the final chorus, again, sounds totally out of place. Sounds like it's intended to elevate the song in some way in its final moments. Like, where is the creativity? Do you remember the days of Train of Thought when This Dying Soul is a song that would end with like a 4-minute dual solo shredding section that slowly descended? Or The Glass Prison, which blasted us with down-tuned riffing, again for a good like 2 minutes at the end of the song. Like, this in comparison sounds so tame and toothless. I don't know what they're trying to say with this track. I don't know what it's trying to communicate. I'm going to look at the lyrics. I know this song just came out and we only have 2 contributors on Genius, so take these lyrics with a grain of salt. Spiders seeking shelter, fading with the dawn, vanishing at sunrise as morning light shines on. Sacrificial martyr, victim dressed in white, headed for the slaughter, angels cry for her tonight. To the cross at the stake, to the lines on the rack, I break, I break. Night terror, hysteria, nocturnal trial by fire, eyes open wide, but I can't see. I don't hate these lyrics, I'm not gonna lie. I think the song is simply about night terrors, unless the night terror is a metaphor for something else. But the imagery here is kinda strong. I'm not mad at it. Mind awake, body at rest, drifting through sleep transitions, borderland state, swimming through waves, sensory dream condition. Actually really cool lyrics. So it's a shame that we didn't get some really intense music to represent all this strong imagery. There's also a sense of sleep paralysis that I'm getting from these lyrics where it says, mind awake, body at rest. Without warning, I fall down the bottomless well, flesh is crawling, need to claw my way out of this hell. I'm seated by the sword on the wheel, twisting in the wind, pierce the silence with a scream. Why can't I remember anything? Yeah, okay, so for all my hate, the lyrics are pretty strong. I can't say anything too bad about them. The only thing I will say is that it's a shame that the powerful, direct focus in the lyrics didn't translate to the song. So in short, I am pretty underwhelmed by this new Dream Theater track. As an individual listener, I wonder if I'm alone in this. If so, feel free to disagree and tell me where to go. Similarly, if you agree, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Again, my name is Ohakade. My band is Valkada. There is a link to us in the description. If you want to tear us apart, go ahead. I don't like being in the business of being critical of other music without having my own music out there to criticize. If you fancy some exclusive content and a song review request from my YouTube shorts, do become a patron. The link is in the description. Otherwise, please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks so much and take care.